Catherine the Great, Empress of Russia. Her name echoes through history, resonating with tales of grandeur and reform. She is remembered for her power, her intellect, and her tumultuous reign, which left an indelible mark on Russia. But Catherine's story didn't begin in the gilded cages of the Russian court. It began in a much more modest setting. It started far away, in Stettin, Prussia, where she was born Sophie Friederike August von Anhalt-Zerbst in 1729. This small town, now known as Szczecin in modern-day Poland, was a far cry from the opulence she would later come to know. Her family, while noble, was far from powerful on the European stage. They were minor nobility, with limited influence and resources. Young Sophie was a bright and curious child, always eager to learn and explore the world around her. She received a well-rounded education, learning languages, history, and philosophy. Her mother, Johanna, was particularly keen on ensuring that Sophie was well educated, believing that knowledge was the key to a better future. Her intelligence and ambition were evident from a young age. She was not content with the limited prospects her birth afforded her. This would prove essential in the years to come. As she navigated the complex and often dangerous world of European nobility, the stage was set for an unlikely rise to power. Despite her humble beginnings, Sophie was destined for greatness. Sophie's life took a dramatic turn when she was chosen to marry Peter, the heir to the Russian throne. This was not just a marriage, it was a strategic alliance. This was a strategic move by Empress Elizabeth, Peter's aunt and the reigning monarch, who saw in Sophie a potential asset to the Russian Empire. Elizabeth was a shrewd and calculating ruler, always looking for ways to strengthen her position. In 1744, Sophie converted to Russian Orthodoxy, took the name Catherine, and married Peter. This was a significant transformation, as it marked her official entry into Russian society and its intricate court politics. She had officially entered the world of Russian court politics, a world as alluring as it was dangerous. The Russian court was a place of intrigue, power struggles, and constant maneuvering. Catherine's marriage to Peter was, by all accounts, a loveless and unhappy one. Peter was not the partner she had hoped for, and their relationship was fraught with tension. Peter was immature, unstable, and openly unfaithful. His behavior was erratic, and he showed little interest in ruling or in his wife. Catherine, however, was a quick study in the art of survival. She understood that to thrive in this environment, she needed to be both intelligent and strategic. She used her time to learn the Russian language and culture, ingratiating herself with the Russian people and the powerful court factions. She knew that to gain power, she needed to win the hearts and minds of those around her. She understood that knowledge was power, and in the snake pit of the Russian court, knowledge was the only weapon that could guarantee survival. Catherine's journey from a minor German princess to the Empress of Russia was just beginning, and her story would become one of the most remarkable in history. Catherine's entry into the Russian court was marked by a calculated blend of ambition and assimilation. She was not merely a passive participant in her new surroundings. She was a keen observer and an active player in the intricate game of power. She understood that to thrive in this new environment, she needed to become more Russian than her German roots. This meant adopting the customs, traditions, and even the faith of her new homeland. She embraced the Orthodox faith with a fervor that impressed many, and she dedicated herself to learning the intricacies of Russian language and culture. Her efforts were not superficial. She delved deep into the history, literature, and social norms of Russia, making them her own. Her marriage to Peter, while loveless, provided her with a crucial advantage: proximity to power. This union, though devoid of affection, was a strategic alliance that placed her at the heart of the Russian court. She observed the machinations of the court, learning to navigate the treacherous waters of courtly alliances and rivalries. Catherine was astute, recognizing the importance of understanding the motivations and ambitions of those around her. She befriended influential nobles, cultivated relationships with military leaders, and most importantly, presented herself as a stark contrast to her husband's instability. Her network of allies grew, each relationship carefully nurtured to serve her long-term goals. While Peter indulged in frivolous pursuits and alienated his supporters with his erratic behavior, Catherine cultivated an image of intelligence, grace, and strength. She was the embodiment of the qualities that Peter lacked, making her an appealing alternative to those disillusioned with his rule. She immersed herself in literature, philosophy, and the arts, becoming a patron of prominent Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire and Diderot. Her intellectual pursuits were not just for personal enrichment, they were a means to align herself with the progressive ideas of the time. This not only enhanced her own intellectual prowess, but also bolstered her image as a progressive and enlightened leader. She was seen as a beacon of modernity in a court that was often mired in tradition and conservatism. Catherine understood that power was not merely given, it was earned, carefully cultivated, and strategically seized. She was patient, knowing that her time would come if she played her cards right. Her years as Peter's wife were a period of intense learning and preparation, a time when she honed her political acumen and laid the groundwork for her own ascent to the throne. Every move she made was calculated, every relationship she formed was purposeful, all leading to the moment when she would finally seize the reins of power and become Catherine the Great.